Welcome to She Sells Radio. All right, so I have a very cool episode for you today. This is a little bit of a behind the scenes listen on what it's like to be on one of our mastermind coaching calls. So, in my 50K Club Mastermind, which is for women who are already at the six-figure level, looking to go to multi six or seven figures, we will often bring in a really cool high level guest mentor. And we recently had on someone who is phenomenal. Her name is Kate Taylor. She is I would call her like a celebrity entrepreneur stylist. And one of the things that I love most about her, and you're going to hear this in what she shares, is she has this like unapologetic, no F's given energy. And she wasn't always like that. She speaks to that. I'm not sure. I know my team pulled a clip from this, so I'm not sure exactly what part they pulled. But with that, you'll hear that regardless of whether she's speaking directly to that in this clip or not, you're going to hear that in her energy. And I just remember being on this call with her a couple months back and being like, man, I am just, the whole vibe is up leveling. The whole vibe is impression of increase. And it's just so fun. So I wanted to share this with you and just help. I mean, she's someone who I would love to do a solo interview with on the podcast anyway. So we'll probably do that and bring her back directly for the podcast. But she did such a great job sharing with our mastermind that I wanted to share this clip with you so that you could hear what that's like and connect with her. So my team will link her information down in the show notes so you can check her out, whether you're whether you're looking for a stylist, and you don't have to be a celebrity entrepreneur. She works with just cool, badass entrepreneurs in general, helping them elevate their personal style. Or if you are a stylist, she has a really cool stylist school that you can check out as well. So my team, again, will link all her contact information in the show notes. And if you are interested in our mastermind, we are currently, as I record this, looking to see who our members are going to be going into the new year. Again, we work with women entrepreneurs and sales professionals who are already at the six-figure level or at 10K months, who are ready to go to multi six or seven figures in this mastermind. And so if that's you, or if you want to nominate someone, it is an application process. Then you can either email Elise@elisearcher.com if there's someone you want to nominate. If it's you and you're interested in checking it out, elisearcher.com/50K club. But we are making decisions now and looking at who's going to be part of that program as we go into next year. So you can listen to this if it resonates, if you feel called, if you want to be in that type of a vibe, go check out the mastermind. Either way, you're going to love listening in on this conversation and hearing from Kate and really just tapping into her unapologetic energy. So with that, without further ado, here is Kate.
Kate, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. You look beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Of course. Hello.
Yes. Hello. So we may have more women hopping on. We've got 10 in the group. It's a different time than we normally meet. So I think some women may be catching the replay.
Okay.
But we're going to be obviously like sharing this with everyone, and it's going to be really, really beautiful. So I don't want to waste any time. I want to like get into having you here with us, which we're so excited for. So, okay. So this is really, really beautiful. And ladies, Kate and I connected, I think like back in April, we started talking about you coming in, and Kate is so in demand. She was like, it's going to have to be here, which is great because she is such a phenomenal human being, but also entrepreneur. And so Kate, I'll let you do like a more formal introduction if you're okay with it. But I do want to say a couple of things that I just really respect and appreciate about Kate, and that I'm excited to hopefully dive into today with her as your guest mentor for the month. Is number one. So we connected, I think, first in Italy. Is that where we first?
I was actually trying to think about that today. Yeah. I think it was Italy. I think it was Venice.
Yeah, I think we connected. We were at a retreat together in Venice. And I had watched Kate's business from afar. You probably don't even know this, but I'd been like,
I know, I'm like learning new things.
Yeah. I was like, oh, she's like on top of her game. Like she's got it. And I was honestly like, we were paired together for an exercise, and I was intimidated to be paired with you. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I was.
No, I could not tell.
She was so kind and so present. And so just like the most beautiful soul, really helping me think through different ways of being in my business and in my life too. And I was just like drawn to her and just like so appreciative, of how you showed up with me there, and, just what she has built and created. I think what's going to be really powerful for today, Kate, if you're up for it, is, so I know you've got, I told the women in our Marco Polo chat, I was like, I feel like you're like a celebrity entrepreneur stylist. I don't know if you would identify with that, but who also
Sure.
has built a very successful business as well, teaching other stylists how to grow their business. And we've actually got women in the community who are your clients too, and they're like, this is amazing. Her mastermind's amazing. So, so she's got such a beautiful business background. And I think what's really fun, if you're up for it, would be to talk, not just about, I'd love to talk a little bit about the elements of personal style, because every woman in here in our group, both here present who will watch the replay, we are committed to having it all and doing it in style too, right? So every woman is elevating her money, her business, her finances, her life. But also I would say it's probably common in this group that like a lot of women enjoy fashion, or they want to show up as the best version of themselves. So I think it'd be really fun to talk about that, because that's such a big part of your expertise, as well as, I know you talk about like how to land dreamboat clients, and because you've built and scaled like, I'd say multiple successful businesses right now too. So with all of that being said, do you want to say hi and actually get a word in edgewise and introduce yourself?
I know, I'm loving it. I'm just listening. I apologize if you guys see me dab my eye. I have like allergies sometimes, and it makes my eyes just like cry. I'm not sad. I'm very happy. But if you see me dab my eye, that's why. But yeah, I am so excited to be here with you guys. I am Kate Taylor. It did take a long time for me to get here because we are quite busy. And for the people watching on replay, thank you for watching on replay. Originally, the normal time that you guys meet, I think, is 6 a.m. my time. And I was like, ooh, I love Elise, but I cannot do 6 a.m.
Understandably.
I can't do that. Yeah, but I am a personal fashion stylist for badass entrepreneurs that are, big names out there making a difference. Really, my driving force behind styling entrepreneurs is that they are also having impact. I became a stylist by way of almost going to medical school. So obviously a very normal track, totally. And took a hard left. But in the beginning of my business, coming from a science background, I was just very used to, you study, you get good grades, and like you move along and all is well. And I came into this creative space where people were saying you have to suffer and you have to struggle, and you can't have it all, and you have to like choose. And I just like immediately something in my body was like, I think I'm not going to cuss. I call BS on that. Let's just say that. And I just determined that I was going to figure out how to do it. And then I would teach any stylist that would listen to me. Like literally, if you'll listen to me, I'll teach you. So that's what I did. I built multiple six figures in each of the different areas of styling, and then turned around and about 7 years ago now, or maybe 6, started building schools for stylists. And the first one was just like the technique of how to style. And then from there, I built more business components. So Business of Style is our second school, Boss, where we teach the business components and really support the stylist in mentorship around business. And then I have a top tier mastermind called Front Row Stylist. And that's where we really cohort for a year, and it's a true mastermind. And it's awesome. So that's kind of what I do. I live in LA, and I moved here during the pandemic, like a true crazed person. But I was living in Boston for 15 years. And when the pandemic hit, I was like, I can't do, first of all, I was like wintered out. Like, I don't know if you guys live near Boston or in anything
I
cold.
just moved to Maine, by the way.
Oh my God, did you?
Bracing myself. No, it's going to be fine.
What part?
Where am I living? Falmouth, like near Portland.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm just laughing about the wintered out.
Gorgeous.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. As long as you, well, the thing is, I was a single woman digging out my car every snowstorm and I got real sick of it. So you won't have to do that. So don't worry about that. But yeah, I just was wintered out. I was like, I can't do another winter. And especially if you're telling me I have to be in my apartment the whole time. Like I was just like, no, it's not happening for me. So I up and moved across the country. And I now live here in LA, but I go back and forth between here and Boston because I still have a ton of clients in Boston. So I go back every 3 months to see our style clients that are still there. But I live here with my partner and our dog and 2 cats. And yeah, building multiple empires at the same time,
Oh my gosh.
never a
Yeah.
dull moment. And I do remember that, that conversation that you're talking about, the activity. And I remember being like, Elise, I am drawing a line. You are flying first class. Like I remember having a conversation.
Was that
with
when
you.
I decided to fly first class?
Yes, that was
I
our
think that was the
conversation.
first time I had flown internationally first.
You had flown and you
business
were
or
like,
first
but it's
class.
like, I'm not gonna do it all the time. That was like so nice. But I was like, yes, you are gonna do it all the time.
Yes,
Absolutely,
yes.
you are. And then you found out that you were pregnant. I was like, now you're definitely doing it. We're like, yes, you are.
You were a godsend. I forgot that was one of the things we talked about. I owe you
Because
so
you were trying to be
much.
very reasonable. And I was like, we're not being reasonable here. This is
Yeah.
not the place for reasonable. This
Oh
is the
my
place
gosh.
for enjoying your life.
Ladies, I've come a long way too. You can hear this. You're like, did Elise ever try to be reasonable? You were, I think, like we connected right at the beginning where I was like, no, I'm changing a lot of stuff. And I remember like
Yes.
now that conversation, I remember that. And that's so beautiful. So thank you for bringing me to reason, actual reason with that. Just
I
do
love it.
whatever
It
you
was
want
so
to do.
good.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. You were like, I think you were at the tipping point because you're like, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Like, it wasn't like I don't know. You were like, you were there. You just
Once you
little
once you do
push.
it, you can't really go back. So I think that's something too that's so fun, and you all will feel this in Kate's energy. And this is something that is so like I've been really playing with this word this year of like unapologetic.
Mm.
And tapping into that. And there's this, I think it's just fun to listen to you talk because it's like this, and it's not in an ego way. It's like an ownership way, like owning your space, owning what you've done, owning who you are and what you want, which is so aligned with the women in this group too.
My partner
So
says that all the time. Like I don't recognize it about myself necessarily, although I don't feel uncomfortable in any room, but my partner will say, you just take up space and you're okay with it. Like, and not in a bad way of like, God, you're taking up so much space. Like you're okay with taking up space. You're not going to apologize for being a woman. You're not going to apologize for taking up space. And I was like, hell no, I'm never going to apologize
Yeah.
for any of that.
I love that. I love that. Let me ask you, Kate, what is your preference for today? Do you have something you want to share with us, or do you want to do Q&A?
No. Let's do Q&A.
Or
I love,
okay.
I mean, I could look, you guys, I could talk about anything for hours, but I would love for you guys to get what you want the most. So I'm happy to talk about anything. Ask me questions. Let's just dive into what's going to be the most helpful.
Okay, I love that. So let's do it this way. I'll kick us off because I've got like 18 million questions I want to ask you. But
Perfect.
ladies, will you let's just do it the way we do in our normal calls. Like put your name in line in the no, don't do that. Just raise your hand. Let's do that. That's gonna be easier. Raise your hand if you've got a question you want to ask Kate. Again, I think both on the style front and building your brand in that way and your personal image of how you show up, as well as building and running multiple businesses and empires, which I know some of you do. And then I also want to talk about taking up space a bit. So let's start here. Here's my question. And then anyone else, just raise your hand. This is such a fun opportunity. So hold on. Oh yes. Okay. So with personal style.
Yeah.
And how we present ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I have found that as I elevate my own self-concept, the clothes that once felt okay, they don't feel okay anymore. And yet stepping into like, what am I going to wear at this new level in this iteration? And how am I going to present myself? And I find sometimes it's like, there's something that like really speaks to me. I'm like, oh, the old version of me would feel uncomfortable wearing that, or it would be too loud or take up too much space. Or so what are some of the things that you coach women through? So your clients, your badass entrepreneur clients, like how do you help them really craft, what is that next image of how I want to show up in my style, and then start to live into it and embody it? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, first we start with a place of style is not just a superficial thing. I'm the least judgmental stylist you'll ever meet. I mean, you're kind of catching on probably just by Elise and his stories, but I'm not ever going to judge anyone. I don't think there's any point in that. I'm always going to love and accept everyone. That's just who I am. And that falls right in line with how you're showing up in the world as well. So I come from a space of style is not just something superficial. It's actually your opportunity to share with the world what you are passionate about and what you find to be true and what you find to be important. You are a walking representation of whatever message you want to send. And you could dealer's choice on what you want to say and how you want to say it, right? But if I gave each one of you a megaphone and you could say one thing to the entire world and you were able to tap into it right now and you're like, well, I'd say this and this. It's probably something that you do in your business or in your life that you're passionate about. You want to make sure that you're also saying that with how you're showing up in the world. And for two reasons. One, you deserve to walk around feeling just as confident as you want to feel. And if you are here and you are listening to me, you likely have some sort of passion to impact other people's lives. And when we keep ourselves in a place of being small or not being the visual representation of the message, we actually keep ourselves from being able to connect with those people that need you, that want you, that would love to find you. But you're the best kept secret right now because you're hiding or you're not actually representing what you want to be saying. So we start from the place of your style is your message. Your style is how you deserve to show up in the world. And if you've accomplished great things, great. Let's make sure you look that part. Not meaning like, okay, great. You've made a lot of money. Now go buy all Chanel. No, I'm just saying like show up in the way you want to be showing up, right? So how we start with any client is what is the message you want to share? So we create what I call style words, and it's what I teach my stylists to do as well. But we do 5 words, and the beauty of working with a stylist that works in the way I work, because other people don't do this, but it's a co-creation process. So I am never going to be a stylist, nor are any of my stylists that I teach and train going to be stylists that come in and say, this is your style. Here's what you're going to wear. You're going to listen to me. Have a nice life. Like, no, that's just not how I am. I don't jive with that. I think it's like weird and icky. It feels used car salesman to me. I want it to be a co-creation. So let's talk about what's your message. What do you want to be saying? Okay, great. How do you want to be saying that? What kind of stylistic things really light you up? We co-create. And then from there, we get to go into the closet or go shopping or both, create looks so that our folks feel confident and wonderful and powerful and in their full self at all times. And it's really important to understand the power of that, because if you're meeting people, I mean, you guys know this just in the very basic level, first impressions are a big deal, right? And the number 6 decision people make about you is whether they trust you. That's before you ever say a word. So if we're living lives or running businesses or trying to impact people, and trust is part of that, which it is, we want to make sure that we're showing up in a way that emanates that, right? So it's a lot more psychology, and maybe that's just my version because I'm also obviously a science nerd if I was going to go to medical school. But there's more psychology in it, and there's more power in it that I think a lot of people allow themselves to see, because it's very easy to find something that is not in someone's wheelhouse and then watch them say, it's not that big of a deal. It's not important. Like, who cares? What I do is way more important than what I look like. And true. What you do is very important, but also what you are showing up as visually, you could say is equally important. As you can understand, you're your walking marketing team in the beginning. Until you have other people talking about you, you're doing the talking. And you're either doing the talking with your messaging or your voice or the way you're just showing up. So that's a long-winded way of saying that's kind of how we start. We land on this is a co-creation. We want this to be the message you feel comfortable with. Now, there's always like a tipping point, right? People will always have a comfort level where they've shopped, how they've shopped, the looks they've put together. we're always going to keep some of that to keep the comfort there. But it's my job as a stylist and my stylist that I train, it's their job as well, to push beyond what is currently comfortable or normal a little bit. Meaning it's a stylist's job to see the next level version of you and style you for that, because then that style is also pulling you up into that, because you're the embodiment of it. I'm sure Elise talks about this, but you can't say, I want a cup of water and not have a cup. So you have to be the vessel that all the things that you're wanting come to, right? You have to already be that person, not say, oh yeah, Kate, I'll get dressed in the way I want to get dressed and style myself when I am pushing it off. You got to be that person now. And sometimes being that person now is showing up physically, confidently dressed as that person. Like, what does the $1 million business owner look like? How does she carry herself? How does he work? How do they interact with people? What is their confidence level like? And asking yourself those questions and saying, now, how can I do that now so that I am that vessel now and I'm not pushing it off for when? I'll do it when. It's a long answer to your question.
So good. No, it's so good. And you said something that we teach, but in a different way. And I love how you said it. You can't say, I want a cup of water and not have a cup. Right. I think that's what I love that. Man.
Yeah. It's like people saying, yeah, I'm going to do it then. And it's like, well, you're just pushing it off. That's not, you're not actually going to do it then, because you just keep saying, I'll do it when, instead of saying, this is who I am now.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been having a lot of fun because I've got such a vision right now of where we're going as a company and where our office space is going to be. And like a lot of different fun things there. And like every day I'm dressing like her. Like I'm dressing like I go in the office. I mean, this is it. It's not, but it's a different energy. It is a different energy. And that's part of the becoming, I think.
It's a way different energy. It also expedites your manifestation. So if you're wanting a quantum leap moment where you're like, I really, I can see myself there. I can vision it. Like I know that's where I'm headed. Then be her now.
Yeah.
Be her now and quantum leap that. Like make it happen quicker. Collapse the timeline.
It's so good. I want to ask, and then again, as you're listening, if you have questions again about personal style, how you're presenting and showing up, even for you personally, I think what's beautiful about being here live with Kate, like, I don't know how deep we can go, but maybe there's some pointers on for individual women. Like if you want to elevate into this type of message or that positioning, what can we do? So raise your hand, ask questions on that or the business side. I have a question though. I do want to ask about taking up space unapologetically.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about that a little bit at the beginning. I used to struggle so much with that. And I still find every time I elevate, there's another level of comfort I have to reach with taking up even more space. And it challenges the old version of me.
Yeah.
Was it always easy for you personally to do that and just
No.
be super visible? Like, can you talk a little bit about your journey there and how you got to a place where you feel really confident taking up so much space?
Yeah, no, it was definitely not comfortable. Okay, I'll say this. I've never been shy. Like, so that's part of it, right? Is like, I've not been someone who's like waiting to be spoken to. I typically am doing all the speaking first. My mom tells stories about how we would be in the airport and I'd be like, I don't know, 3 years old, very young. And I would just dart off and she'd be like, oh my God. And like chasing after me. And I was just like finding friends. I'd be like, hi. And I just walk up to people and start talking. So I've never really met a stranger. So there is that side of me that's like, I'm pretty talkative and friendly. But I will say that part of me, especially when I started building my business, it was interesting. There was like a mix. It got bigger and then I got more in my power because owning a business and running a business felt very aligned. And I was very excited to be in my alignment. And I was accomplishing a lot of things, in person with clients and all of that. But I had to overcome a lot when it came to visibility online because I had fears around that. I had fears around people are going to judge me. And what if I get it wrong? And what if I don't say the right thing? And what if they think I'm stupid? And I don't know what I'm doing. I'm a baby at this. And, I had a lot of fears around that I had to really work through. And I did that by way of working with a mentor. I did that by way of getting into action and really just allowing myself to see this is just another, like, treat this like any thing that you have started, Kate, and not known how to do on day one? Like any job you ever had, day one, you're like, how am I going to learn all of this? And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, old hat, whatever, I got this. It's the same kind of thing where it was like, okay, this is uncomfortable, but it's bumpy before it's smooth. So I'm going to just like keep doing it and build that muscle. And then, I saw success and I was experiencing a lot of visibility and all of that. And then I went through a bit of a health crisis. I'm trying to remember if it was before or after Venice. I think it was after. Anyway, I think it was after. It might have been before, but it was right around that same time. I went through a health crisis where I was working myself so hard that I had gotten adrenal fatigue. And through the adrenal fatigue and through testing, realizing that what I actually had was an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's. And I had gone from being someone who not only was super successful, but I was perfectionistic type A about everything, including my health. So I was like psychotic about how I ate and how I worked out. And like, I was an animal. And all of a sudden this autoimmune, I couldn't do the things I was doing before. And I put on a significant amount of weight in a very short amount of time, unbeknownst to me on how it was happening. So I was still eating crazy healthy and exercising and all of the things. So I went through another level of not being comfortable online, not being comfortable being seen. I mean, I was still accomplishing things because I am driven by impact and I'm driven by integrity. And I had given my word that I was going to do things and I was seeing that it was impacting other people. So I put myself kind of to the back burner and didn't really think about myself, but also was like, I don't want to really be seen right now because I don't feel comfortable and I don't feel confident. And I thought I was playing it cool. And then I went to an event where someone said to me, oh my God, you don't look anything like your pictures. And I was like, I'm going to leave this event now because my pictures were me like 80 pounds ago. So like, yeah, I know. Like it was like, thank you very much. And it was my own just like next level of, okay, this is a new version of me that is requiring not rest, but like slow down. Like she who sleeps the least does not win. And I was playing by that game. She who sleeps the least and works the hardest wins. And it was not allowing for freedom in my life. It was not really allowing for confidence. It was like false confidence because I was accomplishing things, but in a way that was like destroying my health. Right. So that was another level of being uncomfortable taking up space because I was uncomfortable in my own skin, which everything that I go through, I'm very happy I go through because I am a better teacher and a better mentor and a better stylist and a better friend, just who I am. Once I experience something, my ability to be able to relate is different for me. So I was able to relate on a different level and just understand some people, myself included, feel uncomfortable for certain reasons, whatever they are. It's not right or wrong. And a lot of times those are beyond our control. And I lived in a world where I kind of understood that, but now it was a lived experience. And I had to now work with myself and say, I am going to be comfortable and confident again to take up space. But I'm not right now. And I had to be really honest about that, especially coming from someone who had been so comfortable and confident with that. It felt scary to say, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look different. I'm going to be a little shaky before I'm smooth again. And what is that going to do to my business? Like, what is that going to do to my business? What is that going to do to my relationships? It was scary. But I did. I worked through it. And it was a really beautiful awareness where I was like, my body is so powerful. Like, so cool. Like, I don't care if it has weight. I don't care if it's doing this. I don't care. Like, I have a powerful body and I want to show the world that you get to still be comfortable and confident and impact and not allow those things to hold you back. Before I thought just things that were holding you back is you don't know how to dress. Now it was like, no, sometimes there's things happening in your life beyond your control that want to take you out, and you even still have to show up, because I can't not show up for my stylist and I can't not show up for my clients, because I know that what they are doing requires me to also be of service to them. And if I'm going to sit in my own stuff, that's selfish. So I worked through it. I showed up, I did the work, I put the work in. And it was another, tipping point, like I said. So no, I have not always been comfortable and confident. There have certainly been times where I was at my own tipping point a couple times. And for one reason or not, things happened, but it always came back to, why am I doing this? Why do I care? What is my motivating, my driving force, and then my values? And when I tap back into that, the beautiful thing, this is the last thing I'll say on this, the beautiful thing around that is I get to remind myself it's not about me. So my visibility stuff and all of that, it's not even about me. It's about impacting other people. And that I will show up for every single time.
Amen, amen, amen. I'm taking some notes on what you said. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
So powerful.
I don't know that I've ever shared that, you guys, with anyone. So
thank you.
Going with the intuition. My number one styling tip truly is a little bit what Laura's already had to do by force, is make space. Like, if you are looking to do anything in your life along the lines of style, especially for my entrepreneurs, where you're wanting to get more pieces you feel confident in, get more things that you love, even if it means designing new things out of what you already own, you still need to create space. So my number one recommendation is create the space first. Energetically, psychologically, and physically, create space. Allow yourself to have that. So then you can give yourself the permission to play that I was talking about earlier, to just play with, what do I already have that I haven't used? The second piece of advice would be, really land on a couple pieces that make you feel like a total badass. And what I mean by that is, if I were to say to any of you, hey, it's last minute, but there's an event tonight, there's 300 people in that room that all want to hire you, you just need to show up and like talk to them, and then they're ready to go, what would you grab? And if you're like, I don't freaking know, then I need you to get at least two things in your closet that represent that. One thing that's a little dressier, if it was like a gala, that you could just have like a black dress and whatever, I'd put on a pair of shoes, I've dressed it up, fine. The other thing might be a different kind of dress, or a blazer, or a really cool top, or maybe some awesome earrings that just like push you over the edge, maybe a beautiful necklace, whatever. But a couple things that you grab and it's like, that's your superpower. Like, it's in that thing, whatever it is. And you're like, I got this. Put me in that room, 300 new clients, let's go. Like, that's what I want you to have in your closet, at least a couple pieces. The end goal would obviously be everything in your closet would feel that great. That's what we work towards when we're working with our clients, is that they love everything in their closet and they know how to wear everything. So when you're really getting into, well, what do I wear in my closet? Give yourself permission to play. Look at things you've never worn before, things that you haven't worn in a long time, and pair them with something that you love, that is like your comfort, your go-to, whatever. So like a great pair of jeans that, I could put those on at any time, and then try that blouse you haven't worn in a while, or try that jacket you've never worn, whatever. Have at least one thing on your body though that you already know, like, I love this. So like, I already feel good. Now I'm just trying other things. Okay. So give yourself permission to play, and then also give yourself permission to release. If you find that this is the last little tip, if you find that you have your words that describe how you want to be seen in the world and what you want them to know about you, maybe that you're smart or loving or an expert or whatever it is that you want them to know, and really ask yourself, put the garment on, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do I feel those words? Do I feel like I'm representing those words with this piece? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to release it, because there is someone else out there that actually will love that piece and would really love to wear it. But it's no longer serving you. So give yourself permission to play, permission to release, and then really be the visual representation for your brand. Truly ask yourself, what is that? And how can I embody that in a stylistic way? That's what I would say.
Powerful. Thank you so, so much.
You're welcome.
I love you. I'm like, gosh, this is,
I love you
this is so
too.
good. I'm so grateful that you were able to join us and make time.
Yeah,
And so for women to connect further, Kate, I'd love if
Yeah.
you can share more about, I mean, I know obviously like you're working specifically with Stylist, but I think like number one, we'll probably have women come through this program who would fit in that and who will watch the replay later. And, or I know women are just going to want to connect with you more and like maybe hire you for services or,
Yeah.
So if you can share more about how women can connect, get in touch, and then for everyone live and watching the replay, they'll know.
So it's pretty easy. I'm kind of everywhere. I'm Kate Taylor Stylist. So my website is Kate Taylor Stylist. My Instagram is Kate Taylor Stylist. Definitely connect with me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. I will say we just launched a new podcast this year that I am obsessed with called The Kate Taylor Show. It's a little bit of everything. It's style, it's business. It's my partner and I doing what we call the Hey Babe series, which was birthed by us taking a road trip from LA to Florida. And Cody would just pop on the video and be like, "Hey babe." And I'd be like, "What?" And it just became a thing that people liked. And so we have a couple of those on there as well. My origin story, there's lots of things on there. We kind of mixed all, we've got guests on there. So you can definitely check out the Kate Taylor Show. I'm obsessed with it. I really enjoy doing the podcast. But yeah, other than that, it's Kate Taylor Stylist and all the things. Definitely check out the website. There's styling services if you're looking to be styled. That is one of the legs of the business that I'm still very busy in and very successful at. You can check that out. If you would like to reach out to me about maybe I'm not the fit for you, which by the way, I have nothing on that. I'm not stressed out about that. I don't take it personally. It is completely okay. You can totally ask me for recommendations for other stylists. Maybe you want someone in person, whatever. I can totally help you with that. Just send me a DM in Instagram. And if you are a stylist or you're looking to add styling services, those are also on my website. We have Stylist School, we have Business of Style, and we have Front Row. We also, like Johanna mentioned, have Virtual Styling Mastery. Stylist School and Virtual Styling Mastery are self-studies. Business of Style is my 6-month cohort and Front Row is a 12-month mastermind. So that's kind of a little brief overview, but it is all on my website as well. And please send me a DM. Like, let me know if you like today. You could totally share and tag me. I'll reshare it, whatever.